for that.
Yeah, I think even if they have to kill Ega 1, they're just gonna skip that one.
I think even if they had some reason to run right past the tree, they're not touching that. Alright, so Lumberjack Cave had the arrow upgrade. I think we might have... Are we live now, chat? I think we're live. But Lumberjack Cave had an arrow upgrade in it. Meanwhile, and Bush Crab had eight bomb drops just so you know we won't need bombs. We won't need to work too hard to find any bombs this seed.
No, that's valuable knowledge because they'll know that it's like I've never got to go buy bombs. I can just go find a bush crab.
Yeah. Well, and heck, being at 15 bombs already, you're already pretty much set for the seed unless we really don't get a weapon at all through the early game here.
It's very possible. Who knows how this seed wants to treat him so far? Because we really haven't found anything of value so far in Kakariko.
Well, I found the Uncle Bomb, at least. You know, because that totally has value.
Yeah, it's the bomb drop everybody wants to see later and just not on the second item you get in the game.
Yeah.
Bottle Vendor is going to be a ripoff today. He's going to steal 80 of your rupees.
Mm-hmm. That's the price you gotta pay. It's a gamble every time.
He probably just talked it up. It's like, here, you give me 100 rupees, I'll give you this nice, shiny, brand new big 20. And then you just take it.
Because you know 3 dimes is more than 2 quarters. It's not, for anyone who doesn't know. It's not how that works. The flippers, though. The flips.
Alright, so we finally have something in Kakariko. It's not a boomerang.
On the other side, though, we are going to have to come back for Sick Kid at some point in the future. But the flips definitely opening up quite a few locations. Always nice to see early game. Negates that sort of wanting to find the Moon Pearl early on, because it's the other way to get access to that waterfall cave with the fake flipper glitch. Now you don't need fake flippers, you've got the real ones.
Yep, and Yukisaka is going to blindly check the race game.
I play the blind check most seeds as well, especially on a seed that's been sort of as lean as this one has been through Kakariko. It just gives you a little bit more value if there's something of sort of middling consequence in there. A heart container, look at that, a heart container. Something like that. You're not going to go back around and pick up a heart container in almost any situation, but if you're already there, that's just a free heart that you spent an extra 10 seconds to get.
Yeah, and it's like I don't blame him at all, because really the only thing of consequence you found in Kakariko so far is the flippers, so the chance of there being something there is a lot higher.
Yeah, for sure.
Meanwhile, Yukisaka is going to go down to the dam. We're going to see what's there.
Icarus doing the check first. So he'll just save and quit after seeing the heart container. Nice healthy seed we've got going on here, though. Not super healthy, but...
Yeah, if they had boots, they'd have another heart, because Library had a heart container too, so we've already seen 3 of them.
Yep.
And then the dam itself, we've got a soggy 50 rupees.
Which we'll definitely be picking up because we want to get Zora money as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm sure Yukisaka is probably hoping that the mini Moldorm cave is going to have a rupee hoard along with a little bit more, because I could see him after this going up to Ice Rod Cave and then swimming over to Zora's area.
Yeah, whatever order he wants to do the combination of Ice Rod Cave and all of the Flippers location. It's always a little tricky doing mini Moldorms with bow and arrow. He's got lots of arrows, though, and he's also got lots of bombs, so he's got lots of options to take care of him. I must say, you almost do need to get below, though. The side angle is just so hard to hit, because it's all pure prediction.
Yeah. Get ether.
Good old Bolt coin.
That's it in the mini Moldorm cave, other than a little bit of rupees, though, and I think a piece of heart.
Yep. Not too much value earned this early game for sure. And so yes, we are getting to play straight to the hobo. Well, that's not where we want the rupee horde game.
Yeah, no, I think they're hoping to see that somewhere that's, you know, available right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the hobo's holding 300 rupees and he's just deciding to live under the bridge even though he's got all that money.
Be a thing. He's shunned the norms of society. What is this money that we speak of? Now instead we just get the fetch quest back to Kakariko Village because we get a bottle.
Well, that's almost vanilla, the fact that there is a bee in there. We'll see if Yuki decides to go and check the Zor area first or Ice Rod. Looks like he's on Ice Rod though.
Ice Rod Cave, yep. Icarus, of course, just started straight with Ice Rod Cave, so we'll get slightly futuristic knowledge for Yuki here with Icarus's check. And it's a little bit of love.
Probably not too disappointed to see that. Obviously, he's wanting something else, but you still can't shun pieces of heart this early in a seed.
Yeah. And the only thing you're really sad about is the fact that you went out of your way, because it is a solid probably minute or so out of the way, especially with these flipper locations going on. But we'll see exactly how everything plays out here.
Yeah, that's true, but it's like, as you know, I've been watching the tournament doing commentary too. I've noticed a lot of runners have not been skipping the Ice Rod Cave because it just seems the overworld's kind of held a little bit more value than typical in V29.
Yeah, I think I've heard the stats that Ice Rod Cave is one of the highest progression holding locations in V29.
We're gonna get our Waterfall of Wishing.
Yep. And neither of those are 300 rupees. So it looks like we are going to check what the ledge item is first, most likely. Yes, we're going to check what the ledge item is.
Yeah, you're here, so you might as well. The only problem is, even if it is 300 rupees, I'm sure Yuki will pick it up, but it's still going to need to find 2 rupees before you can check Zora. But it's a moon pearl.
But it's a moon pearl. So that's also a little scary, because that does put us one sword to Aga Dark World access. Oh, sorry, no, we still don't have the lamp.
Yep, still need a lamp though.
Lamp's actually the scarier one out of the 3, because Moon Pearl doesn't really point at anything except for now you don't need to worry about where the Moon Pearl is.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it being that troll that's just on the pyramid.
Or anywhere else. Like, heck, that's often a decent troll spot for it to be. It's just that we got the flippers so early that it wasn't.
Yep, so it looks like Yuki, which this is probably the best one to make, and one of the only ones to make, is heading off to Eastern.
Yeah, pretty much. No gloves means we can't go up to Death Mountain even if we want to. And aside from that, Agnes Cave is about the only other check we have. And Sick Kid.
Yep, Sick Kid, Zor's technically still there, we just don't have the rupees for it, and the logic doesn't account for rupees, so Zor could very well just have the progression. We'll have to, who knows, maybe farm rupees.
The bomb bouncing off the wall there a little bit. Well, there's a glove.
Sahasrahal holding a little bit of value. We've got the glove and the blue mail.
So I'd call that a pretty good amount of value. It's no power glove and boots that I had in a previous seed, but that's definitely nothing to sneeze at. So let's see what we get from here.
Yeah, we've got 3 items in here. If one of the items is in the last chest, or it's on Armos and they clear it, it is going to be sequence broken since we're missing the lamp, unless we find it here. And, you know, since we didn't really have time to do anything as far as like an intro to the race, you know, since we were running late and it started before we were able to get in here and we had the audio issues earlier, for everybody that's here, this is a 1-in-1 race. But we have Dark World access now. That is the Titans Met in Eastern Palace. So Ega will not be required this seed whatsoever. There's a big key, so we've got a pretty good chance of there being something on the big chest. Lumberjack was an arrow upgrade, so yeah, nothing there at all. Got a map, so we've got both items are lamp locked right now, but Yuki's gonna at least take on the first dark room.
Yeah, no real reason not to. Aside from, it sort of sucks if you get stuck waiting for. If you do this and then you still don't get the item, so then you have to either decide to go do it again, or go do the harder dark room, or just leave without the item anyways.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're confident with the other dark room, if the big key chest is junk, like if it's which one do we have? The compass?
No, I think we actually have all of the...
Oh, we have both. Oh, they are both items, okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing they found item-wise, Yuki takes a death, was the mitts.
Right, so then Armos is worth 2 items, though, because it's the green pendant.
Yeah, Yuki is gonna nope out of here. Had a little bit of trouble with the dark room.
Can't blame him. It's not gonna do a ton for him at this point, compared to the fact that he just opened up Dark World.
Yeah, Icarus is at least gonna go... We're gonna see this room dark.
Takes a hit from the anti-fairies, but not a huge deal.
Yep, looks like he's gonna pick up the hearts before damage. Okay, well, it may be a big deal now, because we had Quake at least there, but Icarus is going to skip out on finishing.
Gotta love finding a sword at the sick kid, though.
Yep, that's nice to find before heading to the Dark World with basically just a bow for your weapon.
Yeah. Not quite exactly what you would have initially been looking for, but whatever you need. So let's see what we find in Village of Outcasts.
Alright, so we've got Skull Woods and Thieves Town as our 5-6, and we've got Turtle Rock and Swamp as our other pendants.
One ugly couple of pendants for the commentator or for the viewers, because it locks off so much of potential item pedestal possibilities.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at it and thinking what it could potentially be now. Flute could be there, book could be there, and bombos? I really think that's it.
That's probably about it.
Oh, boots could be there.
Boots could be there, yeah. And as could any number of fetch quest items.
Yeah, so it's not dead, but yeah, with Turtle Rock and Swamp being there, it's like hook shots off the board, both rods, Turtle Rock's medallion, hammers off the. It's just a lot of it just kind of disappears right away.
And by that point, book would also be probably a fetch quest item, unless the flute was locked behind as well. Because since you would have the mirror, if you have the mirror and the flute as well as the Titan's Myths, you have access to Desert Palace.
Yep. That would kind of be a little trolly of the seed, though. Is let's lock the flute behind the book.
Yeah, it's happened though. I've had both the book and the flute show up on the Desert Torch before, but locking them behind pedestal would just be ridiculous.
That's Randomizer for you. There's got to be a seed that has it.
Yep.
Alright, Bombable Hut, we had 300 rupees. And a Master Sword inside Thieves Town.
We'll always take a Master Sword. One less thing that could be on pedestal, because of course that second sword upgrade, it's always possible that it's actually on pedestal, and that's the only one that you can get to until you finish. Until you get to like Ganon's Tower or something like that. But I'm not sure of the full details of when a pedestal sword would be required, except for like Light World access for like literally the vanilla game requirement of Master Sword on pedestal.
That would be a case. Another case, and this would be very, very rare, but if all of the swords are, one sword's on pedestal, the other two are actually inside the tablets, and the book is in Ganon's Tower.
Right. Or really, the book could be wherever the book wanted to be. The thing is, you can't get it on the tablet, so you have the second sword.
Yep. However, we're inside Thieves Town still. Looks like both of our runners are going to try to finish this off. It is a 5-6 crystal. Looks like we got some bombs there. I think there's one more item inside Thieves Town to find now.
That sounds accurate. We'll get to see with the prison cell chest downstairs whether we are going to find the small key or whether it is simply locked itself in the big chest. You also have to be a little careful here with his health. There's some health available downstairs, but without powder, his access to further health is a little bit limited.
Yeah, he's got 2 hearts down here, and then I don't believe he picked up the heart right outside blinds. So he's got 3 hearts, so yeah, he wants to limit his damage right now, so he's not going into blind with too little health. Gets a heart drop there, though.
And another heart drop. Geez, the heart drops. If he gets back to it in time. And the boots!
Oh, he does get back in time for the heart, thanks to those newly acquired boots.
Well, no one's gonna be sad about this, and no one's sad that they don't have to go into the... I found that small key seems to lock itself in that big chest very frequently.
Yeah, and, you know, Icarus will be, but I'm sure Yuki's probably very happy to see that too, since you came in here without a hammer, so you don't have to think about leaving that item behind.
Yeah.
Yuki got a little off the script, but should be fine. Still has cape if it gets in too much trouble.
One more hit. There we go.
Right, very clean blind fight. Gets the compass off blind and gets the first crystal of the match.
Also, don't trust the commentator command. Apparently has not been updated yet. We are not Liminality, Carbon, and Rick.
Yeah, and our tracker is not Remeo Gaming. We have Dark Replica joining us on tracking today.
Anyways, off we go. So, the interesting thing one of the interesting things to see will be how early we get that fire rod, to see how early the Pyramid Fairy gets put into play here as an option. As the fire rod is the only item that's really left for us to be able to complete Skull Woods.
Yeah, that is true.
You keep digging up all the 20 rupees here, which is not a bad thing with where the rupee count is right now.
Yeah, it gives you that money for Zoras if you make it back. And speaking of Zora, they can check it when they route catfishing, because there's a mirror.
Yep.
And that is actually a very convenient time to find it, because now you can check the blacksmith and route the mirror locations while doing purple chests as well without having to do any save and quits.
Yep, and on top of that, we'll probably see them keep going around, because since we have the flippers, we can just jump in the water and get around the hammer pegs that would otherwise be blocking us. So we might see a full loop around the Dark World here.
Yep, the Purple Chest World Tour.
Icarus, on the other hand, getting ready to safety up this fight, has sword beams and has the cape at the ready.
Yep, just making sure I'm gonna be completely prepared for this fight. Which I don't blame him at all. This fight can kind of get out of hand really quickly when you get to the final phase.
Just gonna grab the wall a little bit there to conserve some magic. 2 hits, 3 hits. Down goes blind.
Alright, so both our runners have their first crystals now. Just a couple minutes apart. Yuki, I don't believe there was anything special on the blacksmiths. So we're going to get the Old Stumpy check, South the Grove check in K45, as well as Purple Chest, and hopefully we'll see a Hype Cave. And there's some more rupees.
That will likely be one of the last rupees that we opt to pick up if we see it anywhere. Although I could be wrong, that one of our runners could definitely pick up the 300 that's on the Lake Hylia Island as well.
I think it depends on how safe they feel, because they need the 500 for Zora to check in if they want to. They still need 110 to get into Pod.
Yeah, it's entirely for potions at this point. You've got all the rupees you need for the seed in general, but now it's for safety purposes.
Let's see. For the runners, I would love to see a hammer in Hype Cave, because then they could just go right to Pod.
Yeah, you can go right to being able to full clear Pod. Well, full clearing Pod's a little tricky if you're not versed in the dark rooms.
This is true.
The Terrapin,
no fire rod.
Yeah, the Terrapin room with the 6 Terrapin room without a fire rod or lamp is not the funnest room in the world.
Yeah. Although a hook shot and hammer in there would be very hype, but then that would open up Swamp Palace too.
Not sure you'll see. I don't think we'll see Swamp Palace anytime soon. Even if it does get opened up, just by virtue of what else would also be opened up at the same time. But you never know.
Oh, that's not a good start to Hype Cave.
That made it a little bit better. We have fire now.
Okay, I give it a 6 out of 10. We've got a light, but nothing else.
Right. And Yuki is... We're gonna find out here. I'm not actually sure what you play is. Are we going first chest swamp?
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Or we might be thinking we can do more of swamp and forgetting that we need the hammer.
This is also possible.
We'll see what happens here. Because I don't actually... The first chest swamp play isn't... It's by no means an awful play, especially if it actually has something that we need. It's just so unlikely to be beneficial that it's a play that you'll see very few players make on a regular basis.
Yeah, it is kind of, it's a rare sight to see, but you know, if there's something in there, the chance that your opponent actually makes this same call is very slim. And if you find something here, you probably definitely feel like you're in the lead.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this was a meaningful check or if this was, I forgot I can't go further.
Yeah.
Just a compass, so no, he did mean to do that.
Yep. So yeah, solid idea, just unfortunately, of course, didn't pay out.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes now.
Bonk locations looks like it's probably first, although it might just be straight to Death Mountain, actually. Or not?
What he might do is go back to Dark World, mirror for the Bonk Rocks.
Get the Graveyard Ledge, yeah.
And King's Tomb would be accessible as well, and then he could swim across, since he's got flippers, to check Catfish, Pyramid, and head into Pod, potentially.
And we'll start with the Skull Woods check on top of all that.
Yep, not a bad idea. There are 2 items back here.
Agonist Cave with the big 20. Bumper not playing nice there. I thought he had that second dash by just fine, but apparently not.
The Bumper had other ideas.
Yeah. Icarus dashing back. I wonder where Icarus is going next, or did he not do Hype Cave yet? I guess he doesn't have the... Yeah, he didn't. Okay.
Yeah, he went right to Agonist Cave after turning in Purple Chest.
Yeah. So
and
fair
we
enough.
found another Rupee Horde as well. So we would probably have more than enough money in this seed now.
Yeah, wouldn't expect... Yeah, at that point... You should have enough for... Uh-oh, Wall Mastered. Not the worst Wall Master that can happen, but still a little annoying. Drops you back a couple of rooms still. Especially since you didn't get the small key first. If you'd got the small key first, it would actually not hurt him that much at all, but had to come all the way back down the room and into the chest as well.
Yeah, well, we've got 1 item in here, so... And we've got the big key, so... Probably going to see a bomb jump here.
Yep. Definitely looks like it. I would recommend that he walks out the front door real fast here. Especially now. I'm not going to, though, so he's... Yes, he is. Okay, good. Good decision making there, because as mentioned before, even if he made the bomb jump there... Actually, I guess if he'd made it perfectly, he would have been fine, because I think this bomb only does half heart on blue mail, right?
Yeah, it only does a half heart, and then he could have just bonked across if he needed to.
Oh, right, he didn't have to fall in either. Okay, but still, yeah, much safer to just go ahead, just deal with, just set up your safety door so you don't end up all the way back in that last room again. Oh, look, a small key.
All right, so the last item is either going to be Fire Rod locked, or it's going to be in the second part of Skull Woods.
Fortunately, I'm Decaying to Samaria yet. We're going to have to do this the good old-fashioned way of drag a statue around the room.
Yep, and those, we'll see how much those Gibdos want to get in the way. Well, Icarus, we're going to see what Zora has for 500 rupees.
definitely an interesting one, given how early the game said, yeah, here, go to Zora.
And I like the routing he used to get up here. He used the mirror from Dark Lake Hylia to be able to use the whirlpool.
Fortunately, just a little bit of love. Zora getting paid for love nowadays.
Icarus is going to probably be... No, yep, he's going to go be checking the bonk rocks first. Yuki's going to be checking Bumper Cave. I think this is our first check here. Just a big 20 in the bonk rocks and 5 rupees.
Oh, we're getting a lumberjack check from Yuki, as he didn't do that on his initial path around.
That is right.
So here, Stream will get to see the official showing of the 5-arrow upgrade that they missed the first time around.
Yep, and we're getting some more divergence. Icarus is going to be heading up Death Mountain to at least Tower of Hera.
Yep.
Picking up the old man.
Dashing with the old man is not a fun time, unfortunately. Old man not quite as spry as our frog friend is.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any boots either, so... Yuki, I think, forgot about the bonk rocks, because I believe he just skipped him over.
Fortunately, not going to miss anything, regardless of how much he forgot it. Might be a slight time loss when he does check them later, but in terms of current knowledge, at least it won't affect him to any great degree.
Yeah, nope, out of that big 20 sitting at 1,200 rupees, you don't need that anymore.
No, as mentioned before, Icarus. Oh, we're not taking our portal down.
Okay, so that's interesting.
This is the end of the line for. This is the end of this line for Yuki by the looks of it. Then, once the hook shot, it can be the end of the line.
Yeah, I believe we're gonna see a Death Mountain play from Yuki at this point.
Yeah, not the end of the line anymore. Now we're just gonna come back across and up to Death Mountain.
And meanwhile, Icarus is about to pick up a mushroom from Spectacle Rock.
Never blame that play.
Okay, came back for the bonk rocks.
I'm not sure. Well, maybe he was gonna do the Death Mountain play the whole time, and that was just his way of routing it in.
Yeah, that is very possible. The nice thing for Yuki at this point, with finding the hook shot, is he's going to be able to check all of East Death Mountain while he's up here now. Was Icarus is going to have to wait to get to King's Tomb, pick up that hook shot.
And there will almost definitely be something of some value in that East Side Death Mountain. The question is, which kind of value will it be?
Yeah, and we also have all of Dark East Death Mountain on the table as well. So we've got 13, 14 items here, potentially 15 if there's anything on the floating island.
Yep.
And that's not including Tower of Hera, so 17 item locations.
It gets a little ridiculous at times. Oh, we did get through. Yuki didn't believe there for a moment.
I mean, I wouldn't have believed either. Those dead rocks just love to be like, nope, you're not going.
Nice hook speed there.
This time, on the other hand, the dead rock gets him.
Yep. Oh no! You've made it worse. Just go up the mountain. Just go up the mountain, Yuki. It's gonna be easier from Tower of Hera anyways.
Yeah, but we did find the big key in Tower of Hera, so right now, as far as we know, a basement trip is not necessary.
I found basement seeming to be less of a thing. Well, I guess since they changed the keys, that makes sense.
Yeah, because V29 added all the logic to where the keys could be locked in the chest that they would need to be at.
Was it just V29?
I believe it was. V28 might have added, but I know V29 might have added more of them.
Okay.
Like Thieves Town. Thieves Town, I know, is definitely one of them.
Well, I thought it was more like V27, but anyways. irrelevant. The small key can key lock itself. Therefore, it's one more location the small key can be. So it's one location, and then of course, as soon as the small key is there, you never have a reason to go down there because you can't even have the choice of going down there.
Yep, and we did find a bottle filled with some green goo on Icarus aside for the first chest. So that's our first item, just a key there. So either the item is in the basement or it is on Troll Dorm.
Yep. Not going to be an awful Troll Dorm fight since, of course, we do have the Master Sword, so it'll be 3 Master Spins. If we do accidentally poke him, though, he can go into the Enraged state.
Yeah, I think if they're really concerned about it, though, and Icarus already has it equipped, he does have the cape where he can use it to just run through Troll Dorm at that point.
I guess it doesn't even need to be a poke, even a slash, because the slash is only... Yeah, so Icarus should actually just slash again. Would actually be the smart thing, would be the better thing to do here, but probably just get a cape here when Moldorm comes back around. Not. Put on the cape! Put on the cape! Okay, you got it.
Very close to getting trolled. Alright, looks like we're going into the basement for a coffee break.
Yep. And meanwhile, Yukisaka, because he had the boots and the hook shot, able to quickly do the big chest, as you can just hook over and boost bonk back. Icarus realizing that he still needed to do it. Almost walked away.
Yukisaka on the other hand does get trolled.
It'll happen. We're just gonna grab a wall and we're just gonna hold a wall while we have the cape on, I guess, for Icarus here. Not quite the coffee break strat, but still just gonna sit there and do nothing except for hold a button.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that with one hand and still have kind of a coffee break.
It's true. Oh, that was evil, Troll Dorm. So normally if you are holding your sword out, your back is perfectly well defended. You can't be knocked off backwards, but I guess because Yuki ended up getting chucked off the side of one of those little square edges. So he protected himself from one direction, but ended up sliding off the other.
Yep, Troll Dorm has upped his troll game against Yuki.
Just doesn't want to get out of there. Yuki not happy with the worm. Even less happy because of the fact that it's a compass and not the last item.
Yeah, but speaking of the last item, Icarus did pick it up, and it is a tempered sword, so there will be no Master Sword silverless strats today, even if we don't find those silvers.
Yep. Master Silver's not a super fun thing to be doing.
Might have been a little upset by the compass, but I'm sure when he comes down here to pick up his tempered sword, he's going to be happy about it.
Yeah, he'll be happy it's not just a piece of heart or an upgrade or something, or a rupee. Definitely doesn't need more rupees, as we've already discussed. Yeah, sword beams are really tricky to get this with. He does a good job doing it, though.
Yeah, he gets it. So he gets his full coffee break.
Icarus, meanwhile, back into... So is he making the play? Yeah, so he's not going to do the Skull Woods part of the clear. Did he do Skull Woods earlier? I don't think he did.
I don't believe he did, but we know there's nothing of value there, so this isn't a bad play from him.
Yeah. Gonna be a little annoyed when he sees the hook shot. But at the same time, very little time lost, because you do have that save and quit point from the uncle, or from the old man anyways, so... very little time wasted overall here, actually, comparing the two racers.
Yes, definitely. And Yuki's about to check. He's going to see his mushroom.
Yeah. And I don't think he wanted to go that far.
Yeah, probably not quite that far.
Off we go, back up the stairs so we can fall down, jump off the cliff, and go in a different door.
Yep, there's the hook shot. So we'll see where Icarus does not look like he's gonna go back to Death Mountain just yet, though.
No, he did pull his warp down with him. He's not taking the warp though. There's the warp.
There he takes it.
Are we gonna see the catfish play, or something similar?
I mean, I could see it because he does have the mushroom he needs to turn in as well, so he can mirror to the light world to turn that in while he checks catfish.
Yep. Or he might just be checking the mushroom. Interesting little thing. We'll see if Icarus decides to do it or not, but you can always use your mirror portal as the time-traveling mechanic to do the screen transition. Looks like we're not going to see that right here, but it is something you can use. I'm not actually sure which one's faster.
I think it's about the same. Oh, we get a swag net.
May as well take it. A little surprised he didn't purchase a bottle, though Icarus, of course, only being at 270 compared to Yukisaka with 1,000 more.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have as many rupees, but even if he would have bought a blue potion and put him at 110, which is just enough to get into pod.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the last money he needs to spend on the seed.
Either way,
Paradox.
What did Paradox have there? Heart and...
It's heart and bomb so far, so nothing good quite, but we still got 5 chests here.
5 chests here, as well as, of course, the whole Dark World side of things, and Spiral Caves. Lots and lots of locations.
Boomerang. Shield, some rupees, and some more rupees.
The one thing I didn't watch was how Yukisaka got here. Okay, that confirms what I need to know.
Yep,
So
he's full light world still.
Yeah, the one routing thing that I really like to do there is to go in the warp immediately and then mirror to go to that first one, especially since then you can just mirror the block away anyways. And then go up Super Bunny Cave, so on and so forth. Especially given that we don't have the hammer and can't enter it from Turtle Rock.
Yeah, but I'm sure that Yukisaka is going to be checking Turtle Rock while he's up here. And we didn't get a pyramid check, it was just a big 20 there.
Well, yeah, I assume we will get a Turtle Rock check, but we can't check it. We have to enter from the bottom of the mountain anyways, because we don't have the hammer.
Yeah.
That's all I was referring to, was that the more efficient routing would have been to go in this warp in the first place and actually have Spiral Cave be the last thing you were checking. I guess the one exception, if he wants to route in Spike, well, no, because you don't have the hammer, so you can't get. Oh no, yeah, because you can get across there in Dark World. Never mind.
Yeah, but even in Spike Cave itself, you need the hammer for too. As well.
Oh right, of course, silly me.
So the last thing, Yuki doesn't know this, but the last thing that he wants to see is Quake on Turtle Rock. Actually, Quake would be a good thing for him. Never mind. It's a pendant.
Yeah.
We get a book and a fire shield.
Interesting timing for the book there. We are going to be able to, because we have the mirror, we can, as I was sort of alluding to before, we can sort of cut across the top of the mountain to check the ether tablet fairly quickly here, actually.
Meanwhile, Icarus is inside pod, which was not Bollocked, and that is Quake, so...
That is Quake.
Turtle Rock technically can be opened when we find the hammer, and would be within logic.
But we don't have Samaria yet either, so that's sort of a moot point. Hello, Fire Rod.
Well, Fat Fairy's on the table now, and we get red mail as well.
Yep. We'll see if we get that ether tablet check. I imagine we are, because there's not a lot more you can do up here right now.
Yep, that's his last location he's got up here. Quake was in the Eastern Palace Vanilla Big Key chest.
And meanwhile, we did require bow for pod, but that doesn't really mean anything because, you know, we had a bow from the very start of the seed.
Yeah, and the rich just get richer because that ether tablet had 300 more rupees.
Yep. Okay, so we're getting the desert play here from Yukisaka. Icarus, in the meanwhile, is just had to mirror out once he finished the arrow side of pod. Now going to the back. Yuki looks like he's leaving Agnes Cave for after desert. Not a bad play.
No, not whatsoever.
As long as I'm not mixing my runners. I believe it was Icarus that checked Agnes Cave, and Yukisaka is yet to check it.
That is correct. He checked it after purple chest. So far, nothing in pod.
There's been a lot of places that seem to have a lot of nothing this seed. Very back-ended seed for when V29 has had a lot of, actually.
Yeah, just triple bombs in the big chest. I don't believe he checked the right side in the back area of pod yet, though, so I believe we've still got 3 chests back there.
Yeah, I also missed if he actually did Vanilla Big Key location either. I think he did.
He might have, I'm not sure. Okay, now we have value in pod because there's Kane and Samaria.
That's definite. That's required. We need it for Misery Mire, and for all we know, we might need it for Turtle Rock as well. We've already had value in one pendant dungeon this seed. No reason why you can't hold through to more of them.
Yeah, and I think, depending on if there's something in Turtle Rock, that could be huge for Icarus, or it could be a huge waste of time, because when he goes up to Dark Death Mountain, he's going to pick his Fire Rod up from the Hookshot Cave. He'll have access to everything in Turtle Rock with the exception of Trinex. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to dive in there.
I was about to say, or maybe even Trinex, depending on what he gets before he goes up there.
Yeah, if he finds a nice rod.
The other interesting
still
play.
need a hammer.
Yeah, still a while before we're going to be looking at that. But the other interesting play that's on the table still, of course, is Armos Knights. Especially if Turtle Rock's required, we could have a 3 or 4 item required Eastern Palace dip on our hands here. If we include the green pendant as part of the Eastern Palace dip, and depending on what all the items are.
Yeah, and the fact that we found Samaria, which wasn't required, but we've got boots. The pedestal hype is, I think, it's really just down to flute or a fetch quest for flute.
Yeah, I will say I've pretty much been, as I said, wrote off pedestal as soon as I saw that it was Turtle Rock and Swamp pendants, because it leaves so little available to be on the pedestal at that point. Not quite the 1 cycle, but very strong showing there. Very quick 2 cycle.
Yeah, very. It gets his crystal.
Did I miss another horde, or or was Yuki already at 1700 from just the one on the ether tablet?
No, I think he was at 1500, but he didn't spend any, so we might have found like 150 in there, possibly.
Maybe. Geez, that's a lot of rupees.
Alright, Icarus picks up his boomerang. Yeah, right now the pedestal dream is pretty much powder leading to bombos or flute, or then bombos or flute being on the pedestal itself, and then bombos would be the required medallion from Misery Mire. Other than that, pedestal's pretty much dead at this point.
Yeah.
Icarus seeing that piece of heart on the floating island knows we're not coming back for that.
And here's most likely the Skull Woods play. Yuki has done the front of Skull Woods already. Hasn't he? Yes, he has. He did it on his long North Dark World trip.
Yeah, he did. So, you know, right now it's kind of been like follow the breadcrumbs as far as here's an item in this dungeon, go clear this dungeon, here's your next item, or
yep.
overworld location.
The big thing about the Fire Rod, though, is it also leads to Ice Palace. But that being said, Skull Woods is also a 5/6 crystal, so this is actually also a 3-item play, just like Ice Palace, and this is a much faster 3-item play.
Yeah, it is, and the fact that if one of those items ends up being on Cold Stare, Ice Palace isn't completable because of that hammer still.
True, that yeah, Ice Palace only has four locations, with 4.5 locations if we sort of, the big chest is potentially accessible.
Icarus picking up his book and his fire shield, and probably, you know, will check Turtle Rock, see its Quake, going to Hookshot Cave, pick up his fire rod and his red mail.
Yuki doing the fairly typical play here of going to Moth before even bothering to check what the item under the bridge is. Fast enough? Yes, he was. And there's a fire rod for Icarus.
He doesn't need to kill that Gibdo because of where he's found his keys so far. We are going to see the Mothula fight.
Should be fairly textbook. We are a little low on hearts, of course. 6 hearts, but having the red mail does mean that we only take a half heart damage from Moth. Still a full heart from Spikes, though. But very fast. For a big 20. But we'd rather just see the big 20 there than see it be the big key. Or we already had the big key, so I'm not sure if we even have the compass or map left, or whether it was just a small key in the other chest.
I think they did find an item in there.
Well, no, I know we had an item. I'm just saying I'm not sure whether it was a small key or whether it's the map or compass that's left.
Okay, but let's see. We got the pedestal. Oh, triple boom.
It's just
okay.
bombs.
Pedestal officially dead now.
Yep. No, you were thinking bombos for a second there, weren't you?
No, I slipped up my words. I was like triple bombs. I was like, yeah, no,
oh, okay.
It's triple bombs.
Yeah, triple bombs. Definitely not bombos.
Yeah. Words can be hard some days.
So Pyramid Fairy definitely seems to be the play to make right now. Not sure exactly what Yuki's playing to right now. Might be just routing around North Dark World to get to Pod.
Yeah, probably because he might end up turning his mushroom in at this point, as well as checking Catfish Pyramid and routing Pod in.
Yeah. Or Zora. He might dead end at Zora as well, depending on how he wants to route this.
Yeah.
But given that I guess the one thing I was forgetting is the fact that right now our only Dark World access is that portal in by Thieves Town, so...
Yeah, until we find that hammer.
So we are getting the catfish first. Okay, well, Icarus answering the question of what's in that chest. The answer was a map. And that looks like the Zora play, which is unsurprising.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because Yuki might not have just forgotten about the mushroom. He might not be turning it on purpose, thinking about potentially doing a fake powder glitch later if he finds Cane of Samaria, which we know is in pod.
Yeah. Yeah, and given that, of course, he just did significant progression, you can't hard reset if you end up finding out that it was going to, it's just a bug net, I don't care. Because really, if you are planning to do fake powder, the bug's net's not something you want to have stopping you from doing the fake powder.
In the meantime, Icarus is starting his Masula fight.
Yep, somehow got full magic back. I'm not sure if he used a potion there. Or if he just simply got good drops and got there with full health and full magic.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself, but has a very nice Masula kill and gets him down.
Very quick, and looks like we are going right back, so we're going to go down to pod as well.
Yeah, we'll see if he drops the mushroom off on the way.
Yep.
Oh, so the stun prize looks like it's magic.
Well, actually, we can't get the pyramid fairy yet, can we?
No, it is hammerlocked at the moment.
Or Agalock.
Oh yeah, or Agalock.
Which could be one of the silliest trolls we could see anytime soon. It's Hammer and Pyramid Fairy, of course, requiring Aga 1.
Alright, so Yuki does turn the mushroom in and picks up his bug net. And is gonna pick up a potion.
Might be a little bit disappointed if he doesn't, when he sees the Cane of Samaria, but at this point you also realize that you're running out of locations to check in the first place, so you can only put off the mushroom for so long if it's the progression.
Yeah, and it's like, even if you do that, you know what's behind the powder anyways, because it's a glitch, so that means if you're running out of locations and you have to do that, that powder's probably not too far behind.
Exactly. Now, granted, fake powder for flute could actually be very significant if it happens to be the case, but
yeah, fake powder for flute or for a hammer. That hammer would be very large.
Hammer's less of an issue because Hammer is already locking almost everything anyways. Yeah. Flute, on the other hand, doesn't unlock a lot, but is required to beat the seed. And the powder could be somewhere really silly, like the back of Turtle Rock or, well, Swamp Palace isn't that big of a troll, so really it's the back of Turtle Rock that would be the biggest troll there for the powder to be in, probably, at this point.
Yeah, because... yeah, when we get the hammer, it's like, hopefully, runners are probably thinking at this point, hopefully I find the flute before I find the hammer.
Yeah. We're actually, if we find flute, we're on Hammer Go mode, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Which would be
potentially. We don't know what Myers' medallion is yet.
True.
If that's Bombos, we still need to find that.
True.
Yuki is going to make the play back into Eastern. We'll pick up Quake, and we'll see what Armos and the Green Pendant has.
Yeah, I can't blame him for this. We might leave the Green Pendant. Well, it'll be interesting if we leave the Green Pendant till before or after we dive pod, depending on what Armos is. If Armos is hammered, then we'll just see pod done. But
Alright, and Bombos is just 50 rupees. Yes, the non-hammerlocked swamp chest has been checked. It was just a compass.
be interesting if there's any reaction to the getting the Quake medallion here. It won't really matter a lot, of course, because as we mentioned, we can't even... it's not like we can go to Turtle Rock at the moment anyways, because... first of all, Yuki still doesn't have Samaria, and secondly, he just still doesn't have the hammer to even open Turtle Rock.
There's Quake to open it, though, when he gets hammer.
As I was saying, pretty much no reaction, which there's not really a reason to react to it.
Yeah, because I mean, if he had hammer already and he sees that, then there might be reaction, because that's like, hey, you can go to Turtle Rock now, and it's a pendant, so there's got to be something in there, right?
So it'll be interesting to see what Armos Knights do have here. Missing the switch on his dash by.
I think if this is flute or hammer, it puts Yuki in a very large lead, because I don't know how long it's going to be for Icarus to come back here. He probably will check everywhere first, because he did completely clear out except for Armos, and he's already done pod as well.
Yeah, because I would put Yuki in general advantage already at the moment, but a lot of the seed, of course, is going to come down to who's the one that finds the hammer, or potentially the flute, but really it comes down to the hammer. If the flute leads to the hammer, it's still the hammer that's really the biggest thing there.
Yes.
Just missing the quick kill there.
So Armos just had 5 rupees, so nothing major there, but still has the green pendant.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Will he immediately backtrack to Sahasrara, or will he leave it till after he checks pod? The answer is immediate backtrack.
I actually like this idea because you don't have the hammer yet. It would be a terrible thing to go in there with no hammer, turn the green pendant in, see a hammer, and just be like, oh, okay.
It's not really a huge deal either way, because it doesn't actually take a long time to deal with the hammer-locked part versus pod. So it wouldn't have been a huge deal either way, in my opinion. But it's out of the way. It was another blue rupee.
Yep, so just 10 rupees altogether for Armos.
Icarus going to be a little bit short on the magic to do the full Fire Rod land mode, but then again, he's got, with Tempered Sword, you also have the ability to just throw in spins anyways. Actually, I think that's just 5 shots, it might be 6. Either way, we'll see what the full strategy he uses here is.
Yeah, looks like it was 5, so... Gets 1 down.
Yeah, I typically like starting with spins in those situations and trying to line up a Fire Rod shot after you land the first spin, but it all works.
Yeah, but yeah, I think after this, Chad's pointing out, and I'm pretty sure they're right, I think Ice Palace is really the only option they have right now.
Yep, pretty much.
Which will be interesting to see if the hammer is in there, because if it's not, and we find something like the flute instead, then we know more than likely that that Ice Palace is a forced double dip.
Yep. Really, at this point, we already pretty much know that if it's not hammer, it's a forced double dip. Because there's going to be some progression in Ice Palace.
Yeah, and they still have 2 fetch quests available.
And Icarus may be going for that play. looks like it.
Yeah, I think he has to, because other than that, the only play he has is to Armos.
Yeah, pretty much. And the swamp first chest. But
yeah, and swamp first chest, but ice is the, you know, you've got more items in here.
yeah,
You're just, you know, there's got to be more than likely the progression's got to be here. The odds are it's here. Kind of clearing out the front of Pod, which we know didn't have anything, so he's going to make his way to the back. And first justifies Palace only holding a compass.
Yeah, I forgot about the fact that I saw in chat there as I had to mute for a little bit. Though I forgot about the fact that of course the Pyramid Fairy could be the other answer too. So Ega 1 still possibly being required here in this 16.
It would be possible, actually. I don't think it is because, you know, Logic, technically they could complete Thieves Town, but
no, because the key
locked.
No, oh yes, it would be. You're right. Yes, you are correct, because if you use the small key downstairs, then you would need the hammer to get the other small key.
Yeah, so we could complete it, but yeah, the Pyramid Fairy in itself, it is locked by hammer still. So it really depends on where the flute is at that point. Flute could be there, but we would have to find hammer pretty much inside of Ice Palace or something they didn't do it then.
Yeah. I'm really cheering for the flute because of the fact that literally as we were getting ready for this race, we were watching another race that had hammer go mode. So I want the flute first and then hammer go mode because silliness.
Okay, yeah, well, Cannon Burner doesn't open anything up for us.
Nope.
Yeah, Bombo's tablet has been checked. It was nothing. Spike Cave is not in Logic yet. We need a hammer to get into Spike Cave.
Which, of course, importantly, means that it can't have the hammer. Which is really the most important thing here, because we're sort of looking at what locations are left that even if we get something else, can be checked without the hammer.
Yes. So I think there's got to be an item in the IC room. Yep, there's the hammer.
Boo. But 2 iced tea rooms in a row.
It's like, isn't that where it was on the other seed?
Yep. Apparently, if you're creating a seed right now, go to iced tea room ASAP. That's where the hammer is. I always find it a little interesting that seeds do seem to sort of trend in ways over time.
Yeah, it's interesting. So now, at this point, all we're looking for, as far as we know, is the flute and potentially bombos.
Oh yeah, the last item could have been on that one spot too, but anyways. We know it wasn't. We know the hammer was obviously before that, but it could have also been that one right side chest before the hammer. Icarus not respecting that Stalfos at all, just going, you need to die.
Alright, and a key there, so that means I believe the third item is either going to be in the big chest or on Cold Stare.
Yep. Just watching Yukisaka, of course, doing the bomb jump. Just my favorite little quick shout out of just recognizing actually that the Ice Palace bomb jump not actually all that helpful in this situation a lot of times. Now, if you get it first try, it's not going to hurt. But the fact that we have Hookshot and Cane of Samaria means that really everything that we'd want access to is already fully accessible even without the bomb jump. And especially given if we don't find Hammer, it's actually probably faster to route without doing the bomb jump as well. Now, we know we are going to find the Hammer, but...
I wonder if Yuki... So, he did skip the big chest, so maybe we did find all 3 items then.
Now, Yuki hasn't found the Hammer yet. Icarus has the Hammer.
That's right, Icarus has the Hammer.
So Yuki's still running around the dungeon, so that's why he doesn't even have the big key yet.
Yep.
I don't think.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I got mistaken. Mercarist, Yuki checked the only chest in Swamp Palace that was available without the hammer.
Yeah. Now the problem is the flute can be anywhere.
Yep, except in the mire area.
Except in the mire area, yeah. Or, of course, like, we know it's not on pedestal, unfortunately, but we know it can be just about anywhere else before Ganon's Tower. Which, to be fair, still doesn't leave us with a lot of locations. We've checked a lot of the map already.
Yeah, I mean, they can clear pot at this point. They're going to clear ice while they're in here. And then at that point, you know, Swamp is open. We've got all those items there, and Turtle Rock is also open now.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, Hammer by itself in the overworld, I think it really only unlocks Hammer Pegs and Spike Cave.
Yeah, that's
we've seen
pretty much it. Yeah.
So the chance of Flute actually being inside of a pendant dungeon right now is highly likely.
And Icarus now entering his Cold Stare fight. Don't miss one of those shots. I think he's got potions anyways.
Yeah, he had it ready to green.
Interesting they decided to use the green potion immediately, I find, but that being said, you only have so much, you don't really want to get behind before you fill up your potion, or fill up your magic.
Yeah. But very nice Cold Stare fight, it's already down.
Yep.
And we get a fetch quest.
Just what we needed, more fetch quests.
So, that also does, we do have Pyramid Fairy opened up now as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where Icarus decides to go.
First answer was immediate save and quit. Which isn't that surprising. Looks like we are doing the Pyramid Fairy or Swamp, right. It's very hard to tell yet.
He might check Shovel right away too. Nope, we're gonna skip Shovel for now.
Both players making the same green potion play.
Well, Yukisaka had to.
Oh,
he didn't actually go down with enough magic to break Cold Stare out.
Okay.
But Yuki has a nice Cold Stare fight as well. So we are going to get a big bomb check first.
Yep.
Yuki picks up his shovel. We'll see where he goes.
So this is quite the race now because there's so many decisions that you can make. I wouldn't be surprised to see Icarus immediately follow this up with finishing pod. That might be part of the reason why he routed like this. Sort of get him towards the pyramid and then go, yeah, now I'll just go to pod.
Yeah, that might be what he's doing since you need to clear pod anyways. I believe there might be an item there. You might as well go in there and check for it at this point before even thinking about a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, that would be the big difference. Is I'm not sure what the item count is there. 40 rupees in the Pyramid Fairy, though.
We'll see where Icarus decides to go, though.
I can't see it not being pod, because anywhere else you'd probably just save and quit to get to.
Yep, looks like it is going to be pod.
Just double checking his map, making sure he's not skipping something that he shouldn't be skipping. Or vice versa, make sure he's not doing pod when it's actually a pendant.
Yeah. So the question is then, if you're one of these runners, you clear pod, you don't find the flute, you pretty much have a couple overworld locations, and a pendant turtle rock, and a pendant swamp. Where are you gonna head?
It's quite the question, that's for sure. I'm not even sure which one I'd do in this situation. I feel like Turtle Rock is sort of, it would sort of be the meme play, because of course you sort of go pendant Turtle Rock, of course you're going to go there. We haven't talked about the silliest possibility yet, of course, of flute on Trinex, meaning we're actually not even in go mode yet.
Yeah, that is possible.
Or sorry, I shouldn't say we're not in go mode yet, but of course, if it's just needing one more item before we can even get to go mode.
Yeah, it is very possible he's holding it.
Yep.
And you know, Icarus does also have the option that Yuki doesn't. He's in pod. He might go into Eastern and dib Armos.
That's true, and of course, so Yuki, something's going to put Yuki back a little bit ahead, most likely, if that play does come to pass.
Yeah, I think Yuki will have a slight advantage at that point, because I think there's a little bit more of a time difference than just the Armos play that Yukisaka made.
Yeah.
But he is catching up a little bit here, because Icarus decided to, on his way to get to the back, that he would go through the Bollocked area of pod, which takes a little bit more time than the route that Yukisaka just took.
It is definitely an interesting play, given that we have as much safety as we do overall here. Because it doesn't... Helmets are not really the most dangerous fight in Red Mail with Tempered Sword.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I believe he might still have a potion as well, so...
So the fairy refill, not really the best utilization of resources if that was the reason he went the Bollocked side. It may also be some other routing that decisions that he's had in the past that have sort of informed him to go that way. Unfortunately, also you sort of want to lose sword beams for this room, because otherwise you sort of get trolled by your sword beams. There we go. He has lost the sword beams now. So your sword beams will hit the terrapins instead of your sword actually hitting the terrapins.
Yeah, I think most of the time it's just like, with very few exceptions, if I have Master Sword or higher, I don't like being in full health because of the sword beams and what it actually does. Because most of the time your sword hits and it's just the sword beams rather than the actual sword itself.
So a lot of people will take intentional damage off the terrapin in the room before, if they do get the sword beams, to do the first room in the basement faster. Missed the spin, unfortunately. Shouldn't be a huge issue yet. There we go.
So down goes King Helmsor on Icarus' side, picks up his 6th crystal.
And a big 20
bucks. And Yukisaka kills him as well. So now it's going to be really interesting, because right now the race is extremely close. So really it's going to come down to, you know, who finds the flute first, and then we'll see if Misery Myers bombos locked.
Yeah. Another thing that could make a difference overall is if someone stumbles across silvers. It's not a huge time difference, but it could be a decider if the race stays close.
That is very true. So I think they both have the same idea, because Yuki was going for his shovel. So they both might be checking the dig spot.
Yeah. So I imagine Icarus will not be playing the green pendant game anytime soon if he didn't play it right there.
Okay, Yuki changing his mind. He might be dipping Swamp.
Yeah, looks like Swamp will be the play for Yuki. He may very well be deciding to do Shovel afterwards. And on top of that, if Zorian Dark World may continue that on to Route and Hammer Pegs. Oh, he hasn't done the Bombos tablet yet either.
Yeah, so he's gonna do a Bombos tablet check, then probably, I'm guessing with being over here, probably head into Swamp. And Icarus looks like he's about to head into Swamp himself.
Yeah. We'll see, because Yuki could make the decision similar to what I was talking about. He could decide to do the overworld locations. But I feel like you just do Swamp at this point, especially since considering he already did the first item check. I don't see him leaving Swamp too much longer. And we are getting Shovel, it looks like. And with the fact that we went back into Dark World, well, that's not hard to say. Hard to say if this is going to lead to Hammer Pegs or just back to Swamp after this.
I almost feel like it's going to be Hammer Pegs.
Yeah, I feel like Hammer Pegs is probably the play he's leaning towards, but of course, both being... Or he could just nope out entirely, but I don't think that's going to be what he's going to do yet. That's not what he's doing. Just back to Swamp.
Okay.
So as long as Icarus keeps avoiding that green pendant, he's very, very close to on par with what Yukisaka has done. He may continue to actually maintain a sort of a slim lead here. The other thing that will tug at Icarus, did Icarus check the Ether Tablet when he found the book? Way back when?
He might have actually skipped out on it, now that I think about it.
One of those sort of separate locations that one's checked and the other hasn't. That could be... Now, that won't be a huge issue, because he'll route that in when he goes to Turtle Rock, probably, if he hasn't done it already.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yuki realizing he needs the key from under the skull. On we go as let's just see what we've got here. We've got a map. I expect we'll see left side clears first, but you never know. As I'll say this as someone who likes to do this myself, is I'll often still do Argus first if I haven't gotten the big key by now, just for that off chance that Argus has the big key. I don't like having to re-enter the dungeon a third time. So there's still precedent, of course, to skip the left side initially and come back for it afterwards. But that's all based on how everyone wants, how every person decides they want to route Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the way I typically do it myself is if I'm only one item away from go mode or potential go mode because they don't know about bombos, I'll usually do a left side skip, see if the item's back there, and then come back in at that point if I didn't find it.
Yeah, true. You also just get 4 items much faster going Argus first in the first place than doing left side. So we'll see what we get here. Both players are going to do the left side first, of course. Of course, one of the big differences there, of course, being that Argus is not required to beat this seed, which is one of the stipulations that sort of is implied by what we were talking about. But since he's not required to beat the seed, that's a big thing there.
Yeah, but we found the dungeon items already, so the chance of Argus having an item is very high at this point.
Yeah. A little bit of love. And
no, we had a pedestal check already. It is 3 bombs, so it is not a pedestal seed.
Triple boom, not. I can't remember what Bombos' text is. It's been a while. Anyways, left side being a bust, but that doesn't really matter unless the back actually does end up having does have the flute. The only other thing is, as I mentioned, if the big key is on Argus, or even potentially just in the waterfall room, a lot of backtracking can occur, but that one is always hard to tell as well. So many little gambles that you can take if you understand how Swamp Palace routing can work.
Yes.
Because there's also the question of when you get the big key, do you double back immediately, or do you wait until you finish clearing and then just come back into the dungeon?
I mean, it really depends where it is. If you find it like on these 2 chests, I would definitely you've got the staircase right up here that loves runners, that just sends them back. But if you find it in the waterfall, probably just head to Argus at that point.
Yeah. We shall see where this big key is. That's not the right one, Icarus. There we go. There's the big key.
He is going to backtrack.
Yep. He's going to go for the bottom staircase. I believe it is faster to go back into the first room and go up the left staircase on your way back to the big key room if you do decide to do that. Especially because of the staircase being the staircase that likes to suck you back down.
Yep, that staircase. We'll see if Yuki makes the same play and backtracks. Yep, he will.
Does. For 10 arrows is what he's going to get.
Yep, nothing of interest there, so we will have an item on Argus.
Yuki displaying this other path I was referring to here, of course. Coming back this way is just a little bit faster, if only for the fact that you don't have to deal with the difficult staircase. We're getting closer and closer right now. We are 15-ish seconds apart, probably.
Yeah, just a couple rooms away right now, and their checks, with the exception of Eastern Palace, at this point are pretty much identical.
Yeah, it looks like it might even just be 10 seconds right now. Yeah, less than 10 seconds separating our runners at the moment. There's still plenty of divergence that can occur as well, but definitely very interesting to note how close we are in that respect.
Yeah, and I think, at this point, both runners might end up heading up Death Mountain. It's the highest likelihood of finding flute, because there's the most items you have to check. 'Cause other than that, we've got hammer pegs, maybe a couple other overworld locations. But
yeah, hammer pegs just take so long to get to.
Yeah, whereas, Death Mountain, Icarus has potentially 8 if he forgot to check Ether. Yuki has 7 with Spike Cave, all of Turtle Rock, with the exception of Trinex and Mimic Cave.
Yeah.
Right, but Icarus is going to make the play on Death Mountain.
Yep. Yukisaka is following suit.
Yep, doing the same. So it looks like Icarus is going to go check the tablet first.
Or Spike Cave, whichever is...
Yeah, or Spike Cave. And Yuki's going to go right to Turtle Rock, it looks like.
Can't blame him here. The only way this really feels bad is if Ice Rod is in Spike Cave.
And then Flute is on Trinex.
Then Flute's on Trinex, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what Spike Cave has for us.
Yep, we're getting the check first.
And the answer is 5 bomb upgrade.
Okay, so we'll see if he checks the tablet first. But with seeing that, more than likely we're going to see Flute in here. Or Powder leading a Flute. One of the two.
Or we still have, of course, we still have the hammer pegs.
Yeah, there's hammer pegs, and I just thought the seed might not be done trolling it yet, and could have a forced Turtle Rock double dip.
Yep. Yeah, Ice Rod. Yeah, we could have Powder to Ice Rod.
And Flute on Trinex. Yeah, and Flute on Trinex. Yeah, Icarus is going to route the tablet in, so he did forget about it earlier. So it was not a fire-locked dungeon, at the very least, or at least the early parts weren't.
Yeah. Not that it really mattered, it was in Hookshot Cave anyways. And given that Hookshot was definitely available before we had full access to Turtle Rock.
Alright, so at this point, Yukisaka is a little bit ahead now, because Icarus, checked the Spike Cave, didn't find it, had to come back and check Tablet. There's Bombo, so you don't even have to worry about the medallion anymore.
Big key there is interesting. Does mean that, of course, overall you weren't getting the laser bridge with the fire rod, but as I already mentioned, probably not a huge deal given that the fire rod was in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, not a big deal at all, but, I'm sure Yukisaka is probably taking a sigh of relief, knowing that he's got Bombo, so when he finds the flute, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it's 100% go mode as soon as you find the flute. Ooh, ooh!
Those chain chomps just don't care.
No, but you could have got this far. So you could have gotten this far without fire rod. You would have been stopped here. You would have been able to get the vanilla big key chest. You would have been able to get the Mimic Cave.
Yes, that would be as far as you could go.
Now, that being said, that does put a much higher pressure on the flute being in one of those locations, as the logic does do some very wonky things with when items are placed, depending on what order they were sort of randomly assigned. So there's a little bit, but once again, that's almost irrelevant.
Yep, and that had to be a key. Or no, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. If that wouldn't have been a key, then Crystal Roller Room would have had to have been a key then.
Well, or the big chest.
Oh yeah, that's right, big chest. He didn't have to, but there was a potential of an item to be there, and it could have been the flute, so it's not really worth risking it, especially if that ends up being the item you need.
Yeah. When you're in Go mode, you don't skip any locations unless you have a very good reason to. Because we're not worried about skipping Laser Bridge. We're more expecting to have to do Laser Bridge. So we don't really care if we can avoid doing Laser Bridge. That's irrelevant to us.
I kind of like how Yuki decided to route that. Instead of going right to Mimic Cave, go inside, check the big chest, and then come in from Mimic Cave, since Mimic Cave takes a little bit more time than that. Okay, well, we found the powder in the Mimic Cave.
Fantastic. Well, like I was saying, there was a better chance the progression was in those first two locations, just because if the fire rod was placed after the flute in the logic, then the flute would not be behind here.
Yeah, so right now there is a slight chance that this could be a forced double dip then with finding that powder now.
And there's an equally large chance that it's powder for flute.
Just 20 bucks there, so if flute is in here, we've got to find it on the laser bridge or on Trinex.
Was that our first item?
That might have been our first item, actually. No, second. We found bombos. In in the fire rod lock room.
Yeah. I'm like, that was a lot of keys. Including the fact that Laser Bridge was not required. Like, all the small keys were before Laser Bridge.
Yeah, Laser Bridge could have been
mini
skipped.
Helmosaur. I'm not sure how we killed that mini Helmosaur, but, you know.
Yeah, I don't blame him for picking up the safety door at all with 5.5 hearts. Could use Cape or Burner to get some of these chests, but we'll burn your magic then.
Down the compass. So one item, I believe that... Oh no, so we said we said there's... Oh, there it is!
Alright, we have entered Go mode on Yukisaka's side.
We're just gonna finish the bridge, see if we can find silver arrows, I assume is the main thing we're looking for here.
Yep, I don't blame him whatsoever. Oh, well, a butter sword though.
We'll take a butter sword. That will also be helpful for killing Vitreous.
Yeah, it'll be helpful for Vitreous and the Gauntlet. It'll make most of the things die easier, or just as easy a Tempered Sword, but the bosses, Troll Dorm is a little bit easier to fight with the butter sword. You don't have to spin at that point. You can just do swipes.
Yeah. For the time it took him to get it, it will probably pay itself off. It's a very small benefit, but it's a benefit that was definitely worth about the 10 to 15 seconds it took him to get.
Yes, definitely.
So butter doesn't really help on Silverless Ganon. Tempered and butter do the same damage to Silverless Ganon in Phase 4, which is the part that we're really worried about anyways. Unless you're actually landing slashes on your Silverless Ganon attempts, but I'm not sure there's many, if any, people that even try to land slashes on Silverless attempts.
Yeah, Yuki fluting to 1. Okay, I've got to go to 6 first. See, the question is, would you dip into the Mire Shed to see if silver arrows are there?
It's a good question. Yuki says no, which is probably a very valid play. I probably wouldn't do it before just because Meyer's not. Oh, he's got no magic. Got a blue potion though.
Yeah, has to use that blue potion just to get the magic though. That's not something you really would like to do, but it doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah, it's not a huge concern. Well, actually, I guess it is a bit more of a concern because we're silverless, but also because we have the flute, not so big a concern because we can just go buy more potions. We have 1,300 rupees. Icarus not going to get the butter sword.
Yep, so it's not going to make a huge difference, but it is going to make a slight difference as far as time.
Vitreous will probably be the most significant point of that, although it depends on if we're going to use spin strats or dash strats on Vitreous, or some other strat entirely. The spin strats won't be affected between Butter or Tempered Sword.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that would have been nice to know probably a while ago.
And he gets the big key, but he's going to continue looking?
Guess so. But did you catch what that stun drop was?
Yeah, the full magic.
I guess we're just going this way.
Oh. Okay, that's kind of interesting, I guess, because you were, like, right there at that point.
Yeah. Might have been thinking that he needs to save a small key for further in or something like that for some reason. Yeah, lots of powderable things in this room. There's 2 anti-fairies and 2 bunny beams in this room to powder from their health. Icarus did take a moment to load up on his safeties here before he heads into Mire.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, and I know you're thinking as well. It's like, even if I don't need him in Mire, I'm going to GT right after this, so I'm either probably going to pick him up now or pick him up after Mire. Might as well get him here just in case I need him in Mire.
Yeah. Good job, Yuki, not hitting the switch that everyone's used to hitting in that other room. Because we never hit the switch upstairs, we didn't need to hit it down here either in the first time.
Yeah, muscle memory takes over so much there usually.
Icarus also having full health for this. It's really nice to have full health here so you have the sword beams for this room. Missing the 1 cycle on the Wiz Ropes. But very solid overall.
Looks like we're gonna get spin strats on Yuki's side.
I always just like, now I'm not sure how laggy Berna gets in this, but I always enjoy Berna dash strats. Deals with all the eyes though.
So something Yukisaka is gonna have to be careful of at this point. I'm not sure if he's paying attention. He's down to 1 arrow now.
Yeah, it needs 4 arrows for the first mimic room in GT. Second room is not as much of an issue because it has a 5 arrow drop under a pot. Icarus is going immediately to the back, just straight through that door.
But that is Crystal 7, so that means Yukisaka is probably about to head up, get dark. Bleh, I can't talk.
To Ganon's Tower.
To go to Ganon's Tower. So, chat, right now, I expect to see some numbers. I'm guessing where that big key is. You can guess any number between 1 and 22.
Yeah, so my personal guess that I just keep using is 8. On the sort of the classic conventional routing that puts you in the map room, or the fire bar room as I believe many call it. But definitely is also a little bit interesting because it can sort of be if you have those Hiei strats where you do the right side first, then come back, it's sort of the first one in the Stalfos room. First in Stalfos room? Yes. As well, which is always an interesting chest for it to be in. You have a personal favorite?
Usually I pick 17, which depending on routing, I believe it puts it in its vanilla location.
I think 15 would typically be considered the vanilla location, just because you're going to get the front chest first. But 17 is in the right room, at least.
Alright, Yukisaka is opening up Ganon's tower. Icarus is using some spin strats with the cape.
Ran into magic, but that doesn't really matter all that much. Has more than enough hearts. Didn't switch to the bow.
Just gonna use swipes.
Unfortunately, gonna lose a little bit of time for that, but he'll be safe here with the red mail. Hey, look, there's the ice rod.
So let's go kill Trinex, see what he has.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the right thing to do. Obviously, Trinex has silvers.
Okay, so this is interesting to know, because this could come down to a right side, left side gamble. Yukisaka did find a key, but is opting to go left side. Icarus could grab the key, go right side, and if the key's there, that's going to put him up by a decent amount at that point.
Yeah. The other thing I've noted is I'm not sure what Yukisaka has left for potions. And given that we're doing a silverless non-half magic Ganon, might make him a little tight on magic as well.
It could be, but there's half magic. But the other thing to note is if the big key's on right side, Yukisaka is going to end up clearing everything. He has a higher chance of finding silvers, because more than likely silvers are inside GT right now.
Yep. Well, here comes my location. What have you got for me, number 8? Got a bomb upgrade. Everyone's favorite item.
Yeah, and the other thing, if Yuki does end up having to go all the way to Armos, he's going to have to use sword strats to kill them. He only has the one arrow.
Yep. That is true. And to be fair, he wasn't going to fix... It would have been very hard to fix that regardless of what he did. Ice are almost not the most fun on ice without a bow. Nice compass there.
Yeah, so I believe that's chest 9 right now.
Yep, that is definitely chest 9.
So
almost taking the warp there, Yuki. You gotta be careful about that.
Yeah, that was a very close call there.
I haven't actually seen it happen, but I can definitely see it happening.
Well, there's some more safeties on a map.
Yeah, unfortunately not the right safety. You were really hoping for the green or blue potion there if you were going to get a potion, but hey, some potion is better than no potion.
Yeah, but now at this point, unless Yuki picks some arrows up, he's got Bob's chest and then Ice Armors.
Yeah. Icarus, on the other hand, with 54 arrows, not going to have any problems with that. Well, he missed the bonk jump, but the beetle just helped him over the warp instead.
Yeah, Icarus is going to be making the same play as Yukisaka did, though.
Yep. So no time gain from that. But the Ice Armos might be a significant time gain. Nice health refill there for Yukisaka.
Yeah, he does get a 5-arrow pickup, so he can take 2 of these down. But 4 of them are going to have to be with sword.
Oh. He might not be realizing he's... Yeah, he didn't realize he was so low on arrows. The other thing, of course, now, as mentioned before, is he needs to have 4 arrows for the Mimic Room.
Yeah, so if he doesn't find any, his best option probably is to go outside Ganon's tower with that shovel and dig some arrows up.
Yeah, if he'd realized the situation he was in, it would have actually been much more beneficial for him to actually skip the to not get that warp skip, actually take the warp, but there is an arrow pod in that warp. Well,
there's arrows.
Blessed with the 10 arrow drop.
So that means that big key is on right side.
Right side somewhere. If it's tile room, it's sort of irrelevant.
Yes, it's true.
Icarus would not have. I don't think. Well, obviously he wasn't going to first time or first guess the tile room, or else he would have done that.
Yeah, I think if you are gonna first guess tile room, you think you're behind by not a considerable margin, but a close enough margin to where if it's tile room, you know you gain a lot of time on your opponent and evens it out. That
kind of play comes more at like the 215 range. Although Yukisaka is going to make the tile room first play here,
and we'll use the cape glitch. Whereas if you're holding onto the wall and pulling, it will not use any magic while you're using the cape.
Once again, depending on whether he is correct in this gamble or not, a chance for Icarus to gain more ground.
Yeah. Because I don't know if Icarus will make the same play here or not.
But it is the big key.
It pays off.
So unfortunately, anyone who gets 22 for tile room, you're out of luck. It was not 22. It was instead 17, 18.
That would be 18.
So now, of course, this race is not decided yet. Silverless Gated, anything can happen. But that being said, Yukisaka definitely, because of how that gamble worked, has now actually just gained himself even more of an advantage than he had previously. Still have of course, still having the butter sword to his advantage as well.
Yeah, so the only interesting, he's gonna end up losing a little bit of time from Icarus's Armos fight, because that's gonna be quicker. Will more than likely gain time on the tile room gamble. Something Icarus could do, depending on where silvers are. If silvers are on the right side and Icarus just doesn't gamble a tile room like Yuki did, it's not gonna even it out really, but it will make some time up on Icarus's side without the tile room gamble.
Icarus is going to walk his way out here. Hopefully he doesn't try to open the big chest. Because I could see someone doing that and just going, oh, well, yeah, I need the big key for that. Of course it's not going to open.
Yuki making pretty good work of the gauntlet so far. And will Icarus make the same gamble?
Yeah, BMOs on conveyor belts are not... I don't know who had that brilliant idea, but it gets silly. And we are getting the same gamble.
Okay.
These two players on pretty much the same wavelength, almost the entire seed.
Yeah, so this is really going to come down to execution at this point. Yuki does have a decent lead right now. At this point, it's really his race to lose. So I'm sure he's good. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just agreeing, and although I may as well continue with one fall, of course, is a prop. Might be more than a fall at this point, but a fall will approximately even this race out.
Yeah, and I'm sure at this point both runners probably will end up checking the 4 remaining chests to see if there is the silvers hiding in one of those 4 chests.
Yeah, decent chance that we definitely see some more checks. More likely on Icarus' side, of course, given that Icarus is the one that still doesn't have Butter Sword either. we're getting an all lamp play? No, we are still using Fire Rod. We just want to do it all from... We just want the extra magic pickup. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, since he was so low on magic.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna pick this one up here. Yep.
Beamos and Mimics. Always a fun time.
Yeah, they're just having fun with Icarus. Oh,
There's the silvers. That is no more chests mode.
Yep, you're not checking anything else. You have everything you need now, especially with Butter Sword.
And with that, that probably locks us up because the silvers, or the silver list, makes it very much more prone to just a small mistake causing a fall or a death. Silvers just lessens that so much, especially with the Butter Sword, to just cut through phases 1 and 2 with each with one cycle very easily.
Yukisaka almost up to Egg 2. Icarus is making very quick work of the gauntlet, though.
Funny, you said that in the same room for both runners. That's not an awful setup. Let's see if he can, what he can get. Only one because of the blue ball.
Yep, another single because of that blue ball.
Ega Prime not having any of this. Nice double to finish it off, though.
Yep, and Yuki's off to Ganon.
Three slashes on the last Lambo to take down Lambo 2 for Icarus.
Yeah, so I'd put him about 4 minutes or so behind, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna need to be probably 2 or 3 Ganon falls right now to even this out.
Yeah, very unlikely we're seeing a change of lead, unfortunately, but it was a race while it lasted.
Yeah, this is a 1-1 game. I mean, it would have been too much time, but Yukisaka does have to be careful.
A little surprised he's not using his red potion that he got on the climb.
Yeah, same, because I know I'm almost positive he doesn't have a fairy, so a Ganon Hug right now, that's a death, so you're going to have to restart. It doesn't take a lot of time off, but that gives Icarus a little bit more of a chance.
On top of that, he doesn't know where his opponent is, and he knows he's at 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Icarus is going to miss the silvers.
So he is. No torch glitch, but that matters almost nothing. Although he almost took a Ganon Hug there.
Yep, almost took the hug.
One more arrow.
Oh, unfortunately misses that.
Shouldn't matter too much because he'll be in a fairly safe position here, yeah. Although he almost ran out of arrows.
He did, he had 1 arrow left.
One arrow left.
But Yukisaka takes down Ganon. Get your GGs in chat.
As Yukisaka walks through the door with an official SRTV time of 2:06:23. The windfish will wake soon. Good old Z4 references.
Yep, and Yukisaka will move up to 2-1 now. we'll see what we can do about getting Yukisaka in here for an interview.
Yeah, but definitely get your GGs in chat. I see plenty in there already, but get your GGs in chat, of course, for Yukisaka's finish there. Right. Meanwhile, Icarus, of course, onto the Ganon fight himself here.
Alright, so we are going to be joined by Yukisaka for an interview. He just needs to take a couple minutes, and they'll be joining us. So we'll just enjoy Icarus's Ganon fight, and we'll see if we'll be able to get Icarus in here as well and do an interview for them both.
Yeah, while we're waiting, may as well explain some intricacies of the silver list fight for anyone who's not knowledgeable. So you will have noticed in Yuki's fight when he got to phase 4 that when he hit Ganon with the sword, Ganon turned a very light blue. That was then that state. Ganon is only vulnerable to the silver arrows. However, there is a state I believe it's only a 2-frame window that this is available, is that as Ganon starts teleporting, he's vulnerable to sword damage. Normally, basically, he doesn't revert to the silver state to negate the damage. While it is only it's a 2-frame window to hit it, the spin expands that window significantly to be able to have a little bit more control over actually getting it. So there was one hit right there. We will need to see 12 such hits for Icarus to kill Ganon without the silver arrows, the tempered sword. There was a second one. Don't believe that was one, especially since I believe the torch had already de-lit by the time that he made that hit.
Yeah, both torches do have to stay lit for the window to be there.
Knowing the potions that Icarus has, I would be using the fire rod here just for a little bit simpler time getting the fire rod or keeping the torch lit, but of course the lamp being the easier way to make sure you do not run out of magic. Definitely being very effective at getting those hits in though. Oh, as I say, that takes a fire bat hit. Fire bats really like to bounce you towards the edge a lot too, so you really want to avoid those fire bat hits almost as much to avoid the fall as it is for the damage they actually do.
Yeah, because you're playing so close to the edge when you have to do Masters, or, Silverless Ganon, hit to the fire bat can send you right off the edge. But Icarus does get his 12 spins in, takes Ganon down without the silver arrows. The GG to Icarus.
Icarus, of course, walking through the doors with an official SRTV time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 58 seconds.
Alright, and we do have Yukisaka waiting in the waiting room, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them in. Hey, Yukisaka.
Hello. Oof.
Did you enjoy your hammerless seat?
Yeah, of course. Well, it was a nice journey. First looking for the hammer and then looking for the flute.
Yeah. Yeah, the flute being on the back of... It was very interesting, actually. Well, actually, we'll wait for Icarus to get in here if Icarus is going to come in for an interview before we discuss too much about the similarities of the run.
Yeah, sure.
But before we do go on it, how'd you like that seed in general then?
Oh, okay. It was like a roller coaster. It was kind of up and down. In the early, I found real quick boots and the tempered sword. This was fine, but then I searched so long for the other items, and well, yeah, all in all, the seed was fine, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed a little slower to start than a lot of V29 seeds seem to have been in the recent past. You sort of it's almost nice in that way though, where it sort of just fed you items at a steady rate, so you were able to sort of go, yeah, I'll go here now because now I've got the items to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas a lot of seeds lately seem to be doing this thing where they're like, here, have Titansmith's Hammer, Moon Pearl, and Hookshot. Have fun.
Yeah. But this seed, up to a point, it was relatively linear. For me, at least, I felt so. I don't know. Up until I got to Curse of Darkness, I think it was pretty linear. But maybe it was just a feeling in the heat of the moment. I was so focused and yeah.
Well, of course, the fact that you only have one Dark World entry in just north of the village of Outcast. Actually, we'll pause here for a moment. Icarus has joined us here. GG Icarus.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Hey, GG.
Just north of the village of Outcast. Actually, we'll pause here for a moment. Icarus has joined us here. GG Icarus. Let's give you a moment
how you doing,
here,
guys?
How'd you like the seed?
Thank you. Oh, it was okay actually until I had to go look for the flute, and then it kind of progressively
let's
went
give you a
worse.
moment here, Icarus. How'd you like the seed?
I think there was a point where I had it was okay actually until I had to go look for the flute, and then it kind of in the back of my mind went worse. Rock would have had it, but I think there was a point where I had a choice between Swamp and Turtle Rock, because I went and I kind of in the back of my mind thought that Turtle Rock would have had it there. But I went to Swamp because it was closer,
none of your decisions,
and I get the feeling that's
Palace affected much there. You both basically made the same plays the whole way through. The only difference is that you two had completed different bombos or different tablets. So one of you had to do bombos, one of you had to do ether. Other than that, you were pretty much right together. You guys were within 10 seconds in Swamp Palace.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Icarus, you decided to do the Spike Cave check is actually probably the biggest time loss that you did that Yuki didn't mirror.
Yeah. I think that was probably a bad idea.
The small other things that you didn't do, the top bridge on Laser Bridge, or the top chest on Laser Bridge had Butter Sword, which Yuki found,
Yeah.
and the silvers were in the right chest in the Helmistor room at the top of Ganon's tower.
Oh, god damn.
But that being said, you had just already lost time to other things, but like neither one of those probably would have made a huge difference. Butter Sword might have made a little bit of a difference, but
yeah, the thing is, when I got to Turtle Rock, I only had like 4 hearts of health left by the time I got to Laser Bridge, so that's the reason why I didn't do the top 2 chests, because I went straight down to the bottom to take the checkpoint first, just in case. And as soon as I got the flute, I thought, right, I'm off. I need to go and finish Maya. And that's why I didn't bother with the other 2, because I was essentially go mode at that point, I felt, so I just left it.
Actually, I thought the same. I was also a low life, and I got the checkpoint, and then I got the flute, and I already pressed select, and then I wait. I can still get the Butter Sword and the silvers. Let me check these 2 chests.
Yeah.
And I was pretty happy that one of them turned out to be the Butter Sword.
Yeah. I already felt I had lost quite a lot of time looking around, so I just went straight for it. So, never mind.
yeah. So in all the very small differences that ended up, everything plays into everything else. You guys made the same routing for so many different things. It was ridiculous. Like okay. A little bit. You diverged a little bit in the middle game because, of course, once you got the Titans mitts, you sort of had all of Dark World to work around. So you split up there, but yeah, like I said, you came back to being within 10 seconds of each other in Swamp Palace. It was just ridiculous to watch.
The thing was, I did feel like I was behind for most of that race, though. So, anyway.
No, definitely a fantastic race from both of you. Any final words there?
Not really. Just GG's. Obviously, I have to route a bit better in my case, but yeah, can't really complain about the rest from my side. I tried my best.
Well, it's always hard to say. That flute could have been in Swamp Palace, and you would have made the right play in that case. So,
yeah.
Although you both would have made the right play, and we would have still, who knows what we would have seen. But yeah, GG's to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck in your. Both of you, of course, still able to go to keep trying to see if you can make it on. But have fun with the rest of the tournament, of course. With that, I think we're pretty much to the end of our broadcast here. I do want to, of course, give a shout out here to both of course our racers, Icarus and Yukisaka, for giving us a fantastic race. Go ahead, you may want to consider giving them a follow if you were interested in exactly what they were doing. Also, of course, thank you to Dark Replica as our tracker, and D-Sellin here, Danny, for being our restreamer today. And thank you to my co-commentator here, Sir Linkalot777.
Yeah, and I'll kind of just repeat what was just said. Thank you both to Icarus and Yukisaka for putting on a great race for us to watch and commentate on. Thanks, Dark Replica, for tracking, and thanks so much to Danny for picking up the restream at the last minute because of the hiccups that kind of were had. I know the race was supposed to be held on Speed Gaming, but I guess there was a hiccup right at the last moment. We had to switch it over.
On a similar note, of course, if you enjoyed the randomizer action, do make sure you follow the ALTTP randomizer channels 1 through 4. Plenty of rando action going on with this tournament. You got about another 10 weeks of action going on this on the channels, and of course, we're also being hosted on Speed Gaming. Following, so if you want to catch all the action there as well, Speed Gaming through Speed Gaming 6. Lots of channels to follow, and Speed Gaming, of course, hosting some other tournaments as well if you're interested in just seeing what else is out there for any level of competitive play.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, if you're interested in more rando, other than following those channels, we did have a match just start up about 15 minutes ago on Speed Gaming 4. And then we have another race starting up at 7, 3 different races starting up at 8, and then another race at 8:30. So we've got plenty more races today. We're just getting started with week 3, so we have plenty more rando over the next few months.
Everyone have a great night.
Good night, everybody.